Happy Monday, everyone. Jeff Brown, same ruck, different day. You'll pardon me for the next few sessions. I'm going to be sharing some takeaways from a series I've been watching called Generals at War on Magellan TV. Found out they have these really cool World War II documentaries, and so I was watching them. I just realized there's application for us today from these these battles and these decisions. And you know, when I was going through officer candidate school, even as a Navy officer, we all had to study this guy named von Clausewitz. He's much more important. Well, actually, I would just say he's important to all services, Army, Marines, especially with ground movements and so forth. But studying the art of war has so many applications to just daily life, business, marriage. Sometimes marriage can be a bit of a battlefield, so how do you successfully navigate across that? But today I wanted to focus on the Battle of Stalingrad, which was when Germany was pushing into Russia and was trying some major offensive movements there. And they were hoping it was going to be done lickety-split. Well, I think they started out in August. They were thinking 6 weeks tops. And then didn't happen that way. Moved into the fall, eventually into the winter. And what this one episode talked about was how the differences in the Russian and the German uniforms created such an advantage for the Russians, especially in the winter. They even had a freezer box set up. They had the same guy dress up in the German uniform, which was very fancy, built for warmer months, and he sat in that freezer box for 30 minutes at -20, and then had to do some simple things with his hands and couldn't really do it. Then had the Russian uniform put on. Someone says they can't hear me. I don't know. Thanks for pointing that out though, Bill. Turn up your volume. I don't know what to say. Usually this thing works for me. So turn up your volume. So that's all I can say about that. Anyway, hopefully you all can hear me. And if not, I'll redo this later. I'll check it. So the uniforms for the Russians were built for winter. They had full head coverings, where a lot of the Germans' metal helmet, they were losing a lot of their heat from their heads. And the Russians had these special mittens with trigger fingers built in, but they could pull those trigger fingers into the mittens and keep them warm, and then only when they needed to be engaging, they could put the trigger finger into that one little finger hole for through the mitten. So what does this mean to us today? Well, preparation for anything that we do is critical. So while the Russians knew about their own winters, the Germans probably knew about the winters too, but they didn't adequately prepare, thinking that they could get through it a lot faster. So how do we prepare for our battles? You know, call it a battle, call it an event, an activity, something we're going to have to push through, some offensive of our own. And how can we best prepare ourselves in those instances? Well, for us, Melissa and I, we believe leading with our health is one of those key elements. So make sure that you're leading with your health first of all. And that doesn't just mean physical health, but that means mental health, relational health. Make sure all of those health aspects that make up who we are intact, are thriving, and that sets us on the best footing for whatever we have to face next. Second, it's knowing the territory, knowing the adversary or knowing the audience, knowing whatever it is we're going to be coming up against, and doing adequate preparation in that regard. But I just thought that was a very interesting study that they did, a scientific study using a freezer box for to show the differences in how these uniforms probably helped turn the tide for the Russians in this one Battle of Stalingrad. And again, that was on Magellan TV. I get it free on my Vizio TV Smartcast. Highly recommend that whole series, Generals at War. Very interesting. I'll be talking more about other aspects of that later. So, have a good Monday, my friends, and be prepared. Oh, one other thing. Fighting in the winter outdoors is another reason I'm glad I joined the Navy. Have a good one.